Welcome back to Straight Facts on the Football Terrace, joined by Lee Gunner. It's Tuesday afternoon, loads to delve into. Will Arsenal beat Liverpool on their road to becoming champions this weekend? We're looking at Tottenham bottling another lead in their top four pursuit. Man United's hate online increases. We're going to take a look at Jurgen Klopp and the polls out now. Should he be sacked? That's what we want to know from you. There's three options. Yes, no, give him another season, basically. So we want to hear from you on that. And also Mason Mount to Man United transfer rumor. We'll cover all of that on the show and much, much more. But Lee, how are you, my friend? How are you getting on, buddy?
I'm good, man. I'm red raw from sunburn, but other than that, I'm all good, mate.
I just thought you had the levels on your camera set wrong. Hey,
No. I went to the beach on Sunday, and it was really windy. Yeah, and I didn't realize how burned I was getting. And then I woke up Monday and I was like, wow. Yeah, so it's going to take a few days, but I'll be golden child in a couple of days, mate. Like red goes tanned eventually.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's actually quite warm today for the first time in a while. I went out in a t-shirt to go to the shops today. So I was very, very impressed indeed. But there we go. What is this comment here? It says, yes, Daniel, just passing by. Hope you all have a great show. Best Arsenal duo around. Ha ha ha. Yin and yang. I can be seen as negative and others super positive, depending on them every turn. If Prime, I know you challenge me all the time on praising Arsenal for being good, but I praise all teams for being good. You just maybe are too new to the channel to remember me doing it with Liverpool and City. And I'll be it is what it is. It is what it is. I'll always call out lazy punditry and poor journalism. That's my mantra. That's my rule. This is big up Tel and Lee. Lee is gonna jizz 1 year.
What? Yeah, jizz is 1 year.
Jizz, 1 year. 1 year. Great. Yeah, sorry. I thought. Do you know what? My dyslexia kicked in. I read jizz. I was like, what? What's going on?
What you've been doing all afternoon, mate.
I know. Listen, I misread that completely. I wanted to start though with Tottenham last night, bro, because Conte's gone, but another calamity, another collapse, another game where they absolutely threw it away. Pathetic, really, from them. Surprised at all?
No. It's the history of the Tottenham, isn't it? I don't know why anyone thinks that anything's going to change. Like, let's be real. They got rid of Conte, but they kept his number one coach. So what do they expect? And do you know what that smacks of? Yeah, that's Daniel Levy saying, well, look, I've done something. Yeah, so now all the Tottenham fans go, yeah, Conte's gone. Yes, come on. And now his number two is the number one for now. What do they expect to change? I watched the game and they were shocking. They weren't very good. Yeah, I thought Harry Kane complete over dramatic fall into the ground. Lucas Moura, he should be in jail for that tackle. That was naughty, really naughty. But it is the history of the Tottenham, isn't it? Like they're just not very good, and they've never been very, very good. And they're all getting excited about Nagelsmann linked and Poch and all of this. Doesn't matter who goes there; they're still not going to win anything. So I wasn't surprised one bit that Everton got something out of that game. Yeah, Everton actually had a couple of better chances in the first half, and it was very boring to watch until the red card, and that kind of spiced it up a little bit, like the first red card. But they're not very good, mate. Yeah, Kulusevski's probably their best player.
Yeah, I mean, on Harry Kane, do you consider what Kane did to be cheating?
Yeah, because he made out, and you could lip read him as saying he went to try and punch me in the face, is what he said. He tried to punch me in the face. I don't know who he was talking to, but he was talking to someone. The camera zoomed in on him. He tried to punch me in the face. No, he didn't. He just swiped and pushed you away. Yeah, and yeah, that's cheating. You've got another player sent off. Like, he probably would have got sent off whether he'd gone down or not. Yeah, but to go down holding your face like you've just been punched as hard as you... Nah, man, that ain't on. Like, and we see it all the time in football, man. The way these players roll around on the floor is embarrassing. Yeah, and then Sean Dyche, I don't know what Sean Dyche was saying to him, but he weren't happy with him. He was going mad. Like, literally, he was sipping his water bottle, and then Sean Dyche is here. I was like, he just totally ignored him. But yeah, that's cheating, man. He literally made out the guy punched him in the face. Do you know what I found was crazy about that though? Is normally when there's like same with a penalty, normally you see a bit of VAR somewhere, like, and you see the lines on the pitch, or you see the replays and stuff like that. Like, I know it's not always the case, like, because if it is nailed on, then they tend not to do it. Yeah, but with that, I thought that should have been looked at. Yeah, because yeah, he did push him like in his face, but he didn't try and punch him. Like, it's a bit crazy. I don't really get it.
For me, it was a red card, but equally the way Kane went down, the only way he went down, I'm not going to blame Kane for, because most players at most clubs do it. So I'm not going to single him out as being a disgrace individually. However, Bruno Fernandes would be ripped from pillar to post if he did that. I guarantee you, because I went on TalkSport today, no video clips. No, they're actually this morning were slagging Bruno Fernandes off for his play acting again. I didn't think he did anything like that against Newcastle, but yet they ignored what Harry Kane did. If it was Bruno that did that as an example, you know, if it was Haaland who did it, if it was a foreign player, heaven forbid Paul Pogba ever did it when he was here, there would be days of back page headlines about the cheating. Harry Kane does it, and it is completely ignored. There is definitely an English bias to when it comes to cheating. The English players typically do not get the stick or the criticism that their international and foreign counterparts get, and that's the bit I didn't like. The way, even the way the commentator was talking, it was as soon as he touched his face, I in the time I red card, but the commentator was, I've got to go violent, call the police, he's got to be restrained, get a straight jacket. It was almost like, why? It's because it was Harry Kane who did it too. If Harry Kane had done it to him, I guarantee you the rhetoric would have been, yes, it's a red, but the core there, typical foreign player, play acting up for the cameras, and he got Harry Kane sent off rather than Harry Kane was stupid. The core was an idiot, by the way, and I called him out because Everton were going to win that game if they had 11 men on the pitch, because Spurs were absolutely abysmal. But yeah, I get why many people...
It's not the first time an England captain has been protected. But this used to happen with Alan Shearer all the time. Do you remember Shearer stamped on Neil Lennon?
Yep.
Do you remember that? Yeah, and then they said the FA said we're gonna give you a ban. He said, "You give me a ban, I won't ever play for England again." Like, it happens all the time, and we've seen this season. Yeah. Somebody put in the chat a minute ago saying you can't touch him in the face. We've seen other instances this season where players have done that. Yeah, and nothing's happened.
Well, Richarlison did it to
Aaron Ramsdale.
And there was no retrospective ban. So I get again why people. I'm saying it's a red card and he should be sent off. But this is where the FA and the referee associations let themselves down, because other people have done similar and got away with it. We've seen like the tackle, by the way, on Michael Keane is a red card. But where it becomes a travesty is Seamus Coleman was late and did exactly the same thing in the first half, by the way, and VAR didn't pick it up. That's why I'm absolutely. I used to be a big advocate of VAR when it first came in, where they were overturning loads of things. And sometimes you go in real time, you go, that's not a foul. You'd see the replay and you'd see the contact in the box. You go, oh, it is a pen, and they'd give it. I thought that was brilliant. I thought it was saving football. I never felt the sense of injustice. It was almost like you don't get away with anything anymore. Now, if the referee doesn't see it, unless it's blatant, they always find a way of getting around it. And for me, it's terrible. The super chat here says, the theatrics is a symptom of football culture. If you don't go down, fouls often don't get given. How the game is refereed is the problem. That is true. That is true, by the way. If you got sent off even for just being touched in the face, if you didn't go down, players wouldn't play act. I do agree with that. I think you're absolutely spot on when you say that, bro. You are.
The thing is, I think he would have been sent off anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
But listen, I still think it is a red card. Yeah, but I think the way he over milked it, man, it's embarrassing. Yeah, especially when it's a Monday night game. Everyone's going to be watching it. Yeah, Premier League, everyone watches it. Let's be real. Doesn't matter whereabouts in the world. Plus, it's a Monday night game as well. So there's more likelihood of people watching it because they're not at work, or majority of people won't be at work at that time. Yeah. So their viewing figures for that game would be huge compared to, I don't know, Wolves versus Bournemouth on a Sunday afternoon, or a Saturday afternoon or evening kickoff. So it's embarrassing, man. He's England captain. He shouldn't be throwing himself on the floor like that. It's pathetic. Yeah, and he was trying to get one up because he weren't having a very good game. Let's be real with it. He was shocking last night. So yeah, it's bad. It's bad, man. But until this is stamped out completely, all this play acting and cheating and all this crap, the guy probably should have been sent off. But At the same time, the way Kane was standing there, and you could lip read what he said. He said he tried to punch me in the face. Well, he didn't though, did he?
Yeah, he's kind of scratch slapped him type thing.
Yeah,
But it wasn't punch.
He's like swiped him, like just swiped him away, like get away. But as he's done it, he's scratched his nails down his face. Like it's still a red, cool, but mate, the way he milked that was ridiculous.
Yeah, absolutely. This here says, Terry Lee, why do you think there is no law against instigation, and should there be one? Personally, I'm someone who has a bad temper, so I believe I have a really weird personal belief on this in life in general. If you kick a bee's nest and get stung, you deserve it. So if a footballer like gives it, I don't know, you should still be sent off. But if a player instigates it and he gets a slap in the mouth, I'd punish both of them. And Kane did actually get a yellow card in the build-up for it. But equally, I believe in life. If I call Lee Gunner a really bad name now and he comes over and punches me in the face, I don't believe Lee should be arrested for it. I believe I asked for it. So I've got a view of the world where if you wind people up that are tougher and stronger than you and they beat you up within reason, I don't think they should really get in that much trouble because you asked to be beaten up. If someone's bigger and stronger than you, leave them alone and shut up. Simple as that.
At the same time, that yellow card he got, I think, was for a foul on Damari Gray in the build-up to that happening. I think it was Damari Gray. He pushed him over. Yeah, and I think that's what he got booked for, Kane. Yeah. I don't think it was for winding up Decore, but it was just handbags, wasn't it? Let's be real. Just ridiculous.
No, I agree. Someone in the comments says, Terry, are you serious? I mean it in the context of this. Let's just say I go to the supermarket later today and I go to park in a space and someone else gets in front of me. And I get out of the car and I say to the geezer, come on, mate, you're a mug for that. And this guy's 6'4", built like a brick shithouse. And he says, all right, mate, but calm down. If I then square up to him and start giving it the big and threatening him and he knocks me out, I'm not going to go to the police because I've asked for it. If I said to him, mate, what are you doing? Come on now. And then I walked off to go in the shops and he attacked me from behind and beat me up, that's a different scenario. If you ask for the fight, if you get in someone's space and offer them out and you get sparkoed, you deserve it. It's as simple as that. Stop being weak. It's 100%. Terry, you coward. How's that being a coward? It's true. Like, and I feel sometimes on a football pitch, people do the winding up, and then they get a little bit of a slap. I'd book the guy for winding up in the first place. And if they simulate and roll around on the floor, I'd book them for the simulation on top of it. That's how you stop diving, by the way.
That's exactly what I was going to say. The only way you stop diving is to send someone off. Just don't give them a yellow for diving. Send them off for diving. But then there's grey areas in that. Yeah. So it's like, you know, I think it was the game last night, actually. Yeah, maybe it was the game last night. And the player went into the box and he was waiting for the tackle to come in. So he's thrown his leg back a little bit and he never got touched. But I think it was a Wobie, actually. It might have been a Wobie, but he got straight back up and run off. Yeah, but in that instance, you could say, well, he was waiting for the contact. He wanted to save himself from getting injured and they'll get out of it that way. Yeah, but the fact is, he still dived.
Where you can bring it in, though, Lee, is in those scenarios because that doesn't make any grown man fall to the floor. We all know this. We know he dived for it. So it should be a case, right? I'm booking you for your foul on the instigation, and then I'm giving you a second yellow card, Harry, for the simulation on the floor. I'm sending Decore off as well, but you simulated and you instigated it. There's 2 yellow cards there. And by the way, there's precedent for it. Martinelli was sent off last season for a foul, 2 fouls in one process. Do you remember against Wolves? So you can do it, but they'll never do it. They definitely won't do it to Harry Kane, and it'll never come in. Diving's here to stay. So it's one of those things you've almost got to accept. Viewers, make sure like buttons are being smashed. Make sure you are subscribing to the Football Terrace. Obviously, Spurs last night went above Man United in the league. And I do have to say this, though. There is a weird hatred and obsession with Man United at the moment that's escalated in the media to crazy proportions, Lee. I don't know if you've seen it or not. But for me, the Man United hate out there right now, I personally find it beautiful. I'm loving it. I absolutely love how rattled the world is about Man United right now. The way people are angry at the manager because he doesn't like accepting defeat. Our away form's being ripped up. Our away form is being ripped apart by Liverpool fans who have only got 13 points away from home all season. We're being ridiculed. We're being ridiculed again by Liverpool fans and by the Liverpool media for having only 3 more points than Ralph Rangnick's Man United when they've got 5 points less than Ralph Rangnick's Man United. Bruno Fernandes was attacked today on social media accounts, on like big media outlets, for play acting, but Harry Kane ignored. Barring Danny Murphy, I think, had a go at Harry Kane as an example. The manager is now being criticised at Man United because he's not playing his sort of Ajax-esque possession-based football, very much on the transition and counter-attack, and that proves it's not really been an improvement under him. We're being attacked from left, right, and centre after winning a trophy, still in the top 4 race, still above everybody's pre-season expectations. Why do you think this is? I've got my theories, but I want to get your take on why the hate towards Man United is intensified in the last month or two.
Yeah, because the results ain't been great. Let's be real. Like I think you went 3 games without a goal now in the league.
Yes.
Yeah, 3 games without a goal in the league. Your form since winning that cup's not been great at all. You're not playing well. Your away form is against the bigger teams, against the teams that are top 6. Yeah, we could throw Newcastle in there as well. Away from home is not great. Like, you drew with Chelsea, you've lost to Arsenal, you've lost to City embarrassingly. Yeah, you got battered by Liverpool even more embarrassingly. You've lost to Newcastle. Like, and Tottenham, I think you got a draw against Tottenham away, didn't you?
No, we played Tottenham at home and beat them.
So you've not played them away yet?
We drew away against Chelsea.
Okay, sorry, yeah, Chelsea. Well, either way, but them results there, that's embarrassing. Yeah, and that is embarrassing. But then your home form against them teams is a lot better. You've beaten us at your ground. Like, so, and the performances, it's chalk and cheese. Yeah, like I didn't watch the whole game, the Man United game. I say I didn't watch it. I watched it in 2 times speed. I watched it the next day in 2 times speed. Yeah, and you weren't great. The amount of times you were giving the ball away. Yeah, the team was weird. The setup was weird. You got Sabitzer playing in as a 6. You got Bruno as an 8, and you got McTominay more forward. Like, just weird. Like, some of the decisions he made in that game were baffling. Yeah, and then you look at the state of the goal, the first goal, the Willett goal. That is shocking defending, mate. Right. And that's what Man United have been like in the bigger games away from home. It's like they're all over the place. I don't really know what's going on. But then when they play at home, they look a lot more settled, a lot more fluid. Yeah, and the starting 11's a better starting 11 than everyone's. And listen, you can talk about Casemiro missing the game and all of that. That's cool. Yeah, and I see something today that you got like 30-odd% win record when he don't play and 70-odd when he does play. So he does make you a lot better. But at the same time, you've still got players there that should be doing a lot better than they've been doing in them games.
So listen, I play and I kid. The criticism is fair because I'm criticizing it. I called it out after the game. Our away form against the bigger teams isn't good enough. It's the final piece of the jigsaw, because if our away form against this is why the over exaggeration of Ten Hag hasn't improved us. We've not moved forward. We're not a better team. The Carabao Cup means nothing, I've heard pundits say. And it makes me laugh because you're playing down the overall improvement and you're over-indexing one majorly weak area in terms of results, which is away against the bigger teams. When that improves next season, I believe it will, with 4 or 5 more players leaving and 4 or 5 more players coming in, we're in the title race. Our home form is, if we win, we've got 2 games in hand to Arsenal in terms of home form, because you played 15, we played 13. We win them, only you have, and it will be by 1 or 2 points, a better home record than us. And away from home, we need to improve it. There's no doubt. We're only 7 points away from home, worse off than Man City, who are looked at as one of the best teams in the world. It's the over-indexing for me, which I'm really enjoying and I'm seeing intensify, because we went through a long period this season from kind of the Villa defeat right through until Arsenal beat us, really, where we won most of our games. We progressed from mid-table at that point to in the top 4. And I remember doing shows and I remember listening to TalkSport and Sky. And this was only in like January. Do you think Man United will make the top 4? No, I don't think they'll do it. I don't think they'll get into the top 4. Yes, we sit in 5th right now, but we have 2 games in hand and they're both at home. And I believe we will win them. I believe we'll win both our games this week. We'll be back into, in my opinion, by the end of this week, we'll be sitting 3rd in the table again. And I think what we're seeing is like anger and frustration from a lot of, especially like the Liverpool media. The Liverpool media this last week, and Liverpool journalists who either played for them or do a lot of Liverpool work, they're really focusing on it hard. And that's because they're taking attention away from the fact that Jurgen Klopp, they should be discussing whether his job should be remain viable, and we'll get onto that later. It's a deflection tactic. I think the criticism and everything you said is spot on, and I want that element to improve. But the way people are acting like, well, he isn't playing their greatest football. This doesn't look like Ten Hag's philosophy, and they're ignoring what he has said in press conferences and said again today. And I want to play this clip about what he said today. Take a listen to this.
Since Graham Potter lost his job as well, he was appointed as a project manager at Chelsea. But do you have to accept now in management that you will not get that time if results are not good enough?
Well, you never get the time. You know that you have to get results. So top football is about the results. That's the game, and you have to accept it. In the meantime, you have to work on your process. But it has to be in balance.
But he
says, we've spoken to you since Graham Potter.
Sorry, I didn't mean to play that again. So he says process there, but he's absolutely right. That is his way of very delicately saying we're not playing my style of football yet, but I have to win games and trophies while we build up to playing how we want to. Also, there's no way Man United keep him in a job if he finishes 8th, and 5th, and then challenger. He won't get to that third year at Man United. It just won't happen. And I think that United fans are being hoodwinked into thinking this week that we actually haven't progressed because we're not playing the greatest style of football yet. When Eriksen returns and he's back in full-time training now, and Casemiro returns next week, that's the great thing about playing 2 games in a week. We've only got 1 week without him coming back. We'll have greater control of games. We control the majority of games that we play at home when we have them in midfield. But of course, when they're missing, we go back to how we played last year because it's last year's midfield. And that's the element to me which I don't understand why it's been ignored by the media. And I've called out the ridiculous punditry against Arsenal all year, and I'm calling out ridiculous punditry against Man United now. When you ignore the facts, when you ignore what he says, that it's a balance. I want to win trophies whilst getting the team to play the way I want it to. And one of the biggest mistakes Unai Emery made at Arsenal, like as an example, was I think he tried his philosophy too early before his squad was built. And the amount of times you guys got caught out trying to play out from the back when you didn't have the personnel to do it, there has to be a happy medium. We've seen, I can't remember his name, but Murphy, I think his name is, from Newcastle, talk about how they knew with the way David De Gea looked nervous from goal kicks, that they had a great opportunity to overturn that ball because the goalie has no confidence. Once we bring in a goalie this summer who plays out from the back, that alone will transform Man United because there won't be that pressure at the back when we're playing out. United fans feel it. At home, I'm nervous. You can feel it from the crowd. Yeah, for me, it's a beautiful thing to see. We get a bit of.
Do you not think that a lot of these people are saying this because when Man United won that cup the other week, and in the lead up to winning that cup, a lot of your fans online were saying we're in the title race. We're in a title race. You know, we're only a few points. Like if we win our game in hand, this charger's winding me up. By the way, can you hear it beeping?
Yes.
It was knackered. I've got 2 chargers and they're both knackered. I need to buy another one. But yeah, a lot of your fans were getting like title race. We can do the quad. Yeah, we can do this. We can do that. And maybe that's why people are coming out and having a pop because, you know, like you said, without Casemiro and without Eriksen in the team, it's the same midfield as last year. Yeah, but I want to ask you a question. If you finish 5th and you've won the cup, obviously, is that failure?
Yes.
Would you sack him then?
No.
So you'd keep a manager that's failed?
Yes.
How does that make sense?
So contextually, and I actually said on the show yesterday that you may bring this up. Someone actually tweeted me the other day. Again, if we win the FA Cup or the Euro, especially if we win the Europa League, it'll feel different. But we'll just say we don't win any other trophy, we come 5th, and we win the Carabao Cup. So when I say I'd keep him, if we completely collapse from this point, and we've got 11 games to go, we only win 2 of them, as an example, then my mind may change. But I don't believe we will. If we narrowly miss out on top 4 and we win the Carabao Cup, I wouldn't sack him. Why? Someone added me and said that Bayern Munich and Real Madrid would sack him for this season's form of 7 defeats in the league. Real Madrid and Bayern Munich would sack him. You'd probably agree with that, right?
Not really, because Madrid ain't sacked Ancelotti and they've been crap all season.
Okay, but generally speaking, the big teams.
Bayern Munich got rid of him, and then Tuchel's first game was to beat Dortmund, and they went top. So straight away, that looks justified. But it depends because it depends because Man United ain't dominating the league. Real Madrid have dominated Europe for years, so they're hanging on to Ancelotti for the European Cup for now. If they lose to Chelsea, he's gone.
Yeah. So that's my point. Man United, in name, should be sacking managers that that potentially lose 7, 8, 9, 10 games in a season, because we could lose 7, 8, 9, 10 games this season. But it's from where he took us over from. Man United haven't been relevant in terms of title races or the Champions League in terms of winning it for a decade. And you've got to build from that point. I have seen progression this year. When we have all our first team players available and majority that he purchased, we're a very good team. We're not a world-class team, but we're a very good team. When you get 2 or 3 injuries to that, as an example, and the squad becomes thin based on the overall quality, then you're in a situation where I expect us to lose. So I knew we would lose against Newcastle. Without Casemiro and without Christian Eriksen, I did not believe we had the midfield to control large proportions of the game, to build a foundation to score and create from. But I still think Erik ten Hag is the right individual to take us forward. The reason I would call it 5th place of failure is because of where we were in 3rd. My expectations change, and I expect us to get the top 4. However, I wouldn't undo all the work he's done with the new ownership that we've potentially got coming in. But I wouldn't do it. I just wouldn't undo the work. I would give him another year of building this squad out, give him the players that he wants to help get us back to where we want to be. Because I do believe in the process, or whatever you want to call it, of rebuilding our football club. No manager of any level takes over the squad that Ten Hag did in the summer, even with £200 million additional being spent, and gets us back into title races. And the reason why I say that is no one predicted we'd even make it into the top 4 anyway, because it was just too big a leap. But if he does finish 5th, I'll be disappointed. I will criticize the things that we've done wrong, but I will give him at least another season to turn it round. So that's what I would do.
You just said a couple of things, right? Nobody expected. Well, that's irrelevant. Yeah, because you did spend 250 million in the summer, and you already had a core of players there that are pretty decent. Yeah, some of them shouldn't be there. Luke Shaw's another one. He's just signed a new deal. How? I have no idea. Yeah, but if a manager that is not considered the best manager on the planet and not even in the conversation for that can get you to win a cup and get you in a top 4 race, then surely a world-class manager would get you in a title race with 250 million to spend, right? And the second thing I was going to say is, you said you expected to lose at Newcastle, yeah, because Casemiro and Eriksen were out. Yeah, well, hold on one second. He plays Scott McTominay at number 10, Bruno at number 8, and Sabitzer at number 6. Fred sat on the bench. Yeah, that's on him. That ain't on the Finn squad, because Fred should have been starting.
Of course. But we've played Fred. I'm not going to rewrite history. I've seen Fred play in many, many games without quality around him in the midfield in terms of holding the play, and he's been equally as bad. Ten Hag rightfully got from Man United fans criticism for his performance as a manager on Sunday. Starting lineup and system was wrong, and his substitutions were too late and poor, and he deserves to be criticised for that. But equally this year, I've seen him make many a substitution that has changed games for us and won us many points. No team has won more points via their substitutions than Erik ten Hag this year. So there are positive sides to that too. Also, he didn't spend 250 million. He spent 205 million pounds, 130 odd million euro. So it's almost 50 million pounds been added to his total spend. But our squad not being deemed good enough at the start of the year cannot be irrelevant now with what he's achieved, because nobody believed in our squad. Everybody said our squad was poor. If everybody believed our squad was brilliant and the manager was very good, saying United might make the top 4 wouldn't have been looked at as a laughable opinion at the start of the season. So I've adjusted my expectations, and I expect us to make the top 4 from this point, and I'll be disappointed if I don't. However, barring a catastrophic collapse from this point, I'm not going to undo the progressions and the steps forward we've taken, because I believe you throw in a Osherman, you throw in a De Jong, you throw in a Costa in goal, you throw in an additional right back, and another individual midfielder that comes in like a Ruben Neves to build up the quality. I'm throwing names out here rather than exactly who I want.
Doing that in January, so I'm buying 1 or 2 of them in January, or not them names, but 1 or 2 in them positions, like a right back or a left back or something. What stopped you doing that?
Great shout. There's no money left at Man United. The Glazers. No. Listen. So this is all the financial facts of the matter here. There's going to be new money available in the summer, because by then we'll have passed our thresholds of our 3-year period with FFP. So FFP states that every 3 years you can't make a certain amount of losses. Once that 3-year period elapses, you can make losses in the short term, as long as by the end of that next 3-year period, your losses aren't below like a 30 million minus or something like this. And this is the pattern that Man United have done under Glazers regularly.
Yeah, that sounds great in theory, but surely every club lost money during COVID.
Let me finish, though. Let me finish.
They relinquished that.
Let me finish. So but not every club has the same 3-year period. So your 3-year period that you submit to under FFP may be different to that of Manchester United. United have this cycle every 3 years where we spend, and then suddenly whatever manager is in charge, we spend a lot less because the cash within the business has run out. Why? Because debt's increasing all the time and dividends keeps being taken. And our debt has now increased again now to nearly £1 billion in total, not for additional spending, but because the US dollar versus the pound has changed and our debt's increased by 40 million. Now, we don't pay the capital back on that, but it increases the interest payments that we make. So more money, it's about an extra £15 million comes out. United had no money in January to go out and spend 70, 80, 90 million on the right players. I wish we did. Come the summer, there is going to be around £300 million available with or without the Glazers, according to a financial report that's come out. I don't think we'll spend as much as that with the Glazers here. I think it'll be nearer the £200 million mark. However, if the Glazers stay, within a year and a half of that spending, there'll be another period where there'll be no money left again because of the way they take all the money out of the club. They leave nothing in for us because they take it for themselves and pay interest payments. So that's why that wasn't done.
So you're telling me that you didn't have, because the money for a transfer is not paid up front, as we know. It's spread over the length of the contract normally, right? Mm-hmm. So you're telling me that you couldn't go and get another midfielder, whoever that may be, for 30 million quid spread over 5 years, and you're telling me you ain't got that money at all?
So you are right that amortization is how you pay these deals. However, when you add up all the previous deals of the last 3, 4, 5 years, they're all still being paid off monthly. So you've still got huge commitments each month on transfers. We're still paying off transfers for players that we've sold on since at a loss. So we bought players in at like 50, 60 million, sold them off at a pittance. We're still paying off those transfers. So we've got a huge ledger of people we owe money to on transfers because of our failed projects. And then this is why failed projects always damage the new manager at some point when debt isn't paid off, because you get into a situation where you've borrowed more than you can afford to pay back, and you can't keep adding additional money to it. So, and our debt is nearly £1 billion, and we have to pay interest on that. That's why we're in trouble. That's why Manchester United and people look. There's lending debt that's nearly 600 million, but there's around 400 million pound owed on players as well. That doesn't count as a debt that you see like against the bank, but it's money we owe to other clubs. We have debtors out there away from lending to banks. It's about £1 billion is owed to banks and to other.
On that basis, then, how are you paying the wages?
because
if you're that skint, you ain't got the money, have you?
No, because we have huge turnover. But exactly that, we can't use that cash to pay the wages, because if you use that cash for wages to pay transfers, you then can't pay wages, and then you go into administration. Then we would be deducted points. That's
I understand all of that, but I'm baffled as to Man United actually got zero money to buy a player.
Man United, do you know a lot of the wages? So this was released in the last financials. That's not really been discussed enough. The money we've saved from getting rid of Ronaldo, which is like millions of pounds a month, they siphoned that money into the kitty to start paying wages off other people. They were going to have to borrow money to pay wages in the second half of this season from a bank, because there's not enough physical cash, because we've overspent on failed projects that we're still paying off. We're still paying off. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is still on the books officially because we're having to pay his wages up until, I think, the end of 2025. Like, the club, when it's been run as badly as it does, you run out of money at certain points. That's why we didn't buy anyone in January. There's no
how many accountants you've got in your chat, by the way, that are financial experts. Yeah, like if we're talking about Arsenal Football Club, I know it inside out. I don't sit and study Man United finance, but obviously all these experts in the chat do. So big up to them, because obviously they're obviously not at work doing their financial work with their multi-millionaire clients. They're sat watching Lee and Terry.
Bro, but this is the thing. This is the thing for me. There's a question here. It says Terry, a question. Sheikh Kazim wants to pay the debt the Glazers have overall. Does that mean he'll basically pay 7 billion? No one knows the breakdown of the offer. It's very likely that if the money owed to the banks will be paid off, it'll be encumbered in the deal. Most likely, it may not be, but most likely it will be, according to most financial experts. But nobody really knows, because the bank, Qatar, no one is going to reveal the makeup and the breakdown of their bid. But either way, he's committed to paying all the debt off. So you remove that debt, Man United per summer, on average, become £150 million richer every summer. That's how much money we get back. What it will then do is that frees up enough money to pay all the old, in business, the debts that we have to other clubs. You'd call it like legacy debt for things that you've done in the past. And that's why this is why when you buy players and they fail and you sell them at a loss, it becomes a problem later on down the line. City have got great profitability in the last 3 to 4 seasons from selling players because they've sold people that have done quite well. So you sell them at least what you bought them for, or at a higher or at a profit. This is why Man United are holding on to Maguire, and they're trying to get some value back. If they sell him for £20 million, they're making a loss. If they could get 40 to 50 million, they might be able to break about even. And that's what they're aiming to do. That's why certain players get new deals at Man United. It's a risk. It's a risk of if we can give them a new deal and extend their stay with a very little pay increase, and then in 18 months, they've had a good little period and we can sell them, they might be able to make some of their money back. That's why they do it. It's all about the money.
And it's cheaper than buying a new left back and paying them the wages, isn't it?
Exactly. And that's why Manchester United need new owners to basically clear this legacy problem.
Now you've told me all of that, because I didn't know all of that. So all the people saying, "No, Terry schooled you." Terry's educated me. He ain't schooled me about anything, mate. What are you chatting about? I don't know Man United finances inside out like Terry does. Yeah, ask me about Arsenal, I'll tell you. Yeah, but that's crazy, man. So you're basically going from being dead broke and on your backsides to winning the lottery.
So exactly. So when people say that the new owners won't make a difference, the only way they won't make a difference is if they run up £1 billion of debt and every project fails and we waste all our money on the wrong players. That's a potential. That could potentially happen. But I don't believe somebody spends 6, 7, 8 billion in total buying the club, investing in the stadium just to let it crumble. Remember, the Glazers bought Man United for £0 of their own money. They just borrowed it from a bank and Man United paid it off. So there's never been a risk to the Glazers. Even if they only got £1 billion for it, they're still making £1 billion profit because they've never spent a penny of their own money. No one, in my opinion, is going to spend this much money on a football club and then watch it crumble over a decade or two. Then it's not going to happen because billionaires, they're billionaires for a reason. Do you know what I'm saying? You're not going to let it crumble. So this is why in January, if Man United had money, City money we'll have with the Qataris, what we would have done in January, in my opinion, is gone out to a Napoli, to a Tottenham, and made them an offer they can't refuse to buy a player. I don't think people... We've got 300 million potentially, this maximum we could spend in terms of FFP levels come this summer with the Glazers. Can you imagine how much money we have with £1 billion of debt being paid off?
So on this basis, then, that's got to go back on the fans as to say, well, why aren't they protesting? Like, because if it's got that bad that they've bled your club that dry, I know they've taken a lot of money out. I know that much. But I didn't realize it was to the extent where you literally couldn't buy a player at all in January, or like otherwise you'd have to not pay the wages for players. Mate, on that basis, why aren't your fans rioting?
Most Man United fans,
they get their little Norwich scarves out every now and again and hashtag Glazers out, and that's it.
Most Manchester United fans don't care enough. They say they do, but your actions speak louder than words. And I've said it. That's why I pulled my money away from the football club. It's why I pulled away, because I didn't want to be essentially what Man United fans, and this is the irony, the reason the Glazers are looking to sell is because the club has run out of money. And they're not taking dividends now for a while because there's no money to fucking take. There's no money to take. It's gone. People think, oh, thank God they ain't taking any dividends. They would if they could, but they can't. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like a bank robber being praised for not robbing a bank when the bank had no cash in it. He didn't not rob it because he was being nice. He robbed it because you have no money in your tills. It's ridiculous. Like, Man United fans that give their money to the club right now are a part of the problem. Any fan of any club that funds poor ownership is part of the problem. And I always equate it to tough love. If one of my children, heaven forbid, ever became hooked or addicted to a substance, locking them in a room and watching them sweat it out and go cold turkey, and then taking them to a place like a place to be treated is better than what I know parents to have done where I grew up. Some parents would help fund. But I had a friend, a really good friend of mine, who got addicted to crack, and we were at school together, and she got in with the wrong people, got addicted to it. And I remember getting into an argument with like a cousin of hers because what her mum was doing to keep her safe is that she would buy it for her, give it to her, and let her do it in her bedroom. And it was like, well, they're controlling it by letting her do it in a safe environment. I get the logic, but you're not going to ever get her off of it, are you? And that's got to be the aim. And that's what I feel like Man United fans do. We feed the habit. We think that the protests and the screen and goal scarves are like, it's like a control of it, shows we care, but you're feeding their habits the whole time. They're feeding the habits the whole time, where for me, what we should do is go cold turkey, pull our money, even if it crashes the club in the short term, to have got rid of them. Now, that process doesn't matter right now because the Glazers are selling. But I've seen like the groups that do the protests celebrate. Our protests have got them out. The pressure got no. The lack of money is what's made them leave. Thus, I'm not trying to like score points. But if 10 years ago you all pulled your money away, they would already have sold. But we have allowed this to happen by not taking action. And for me, this is the problem with most people in society in general. We want to moan, but we want to do nothing about it ever. People are damn weak. And it's harder to walk away from the club you love. It's harder to give up your season ticket than it is to go to a protest outside the stadium that you're going to anyway on a match day. They don't even protest on non-match days. So they're not even giving up any of their personal time away from it to protest. They're doing it when they're going there anyway. I actually don't understand the praise it gets. Like, they're not giving up any time. They're going there anyway. You know, it's like going to a protest at your school that you're at anyway. You're just there. You might as well join in. It's crazy to me. But yeah, look, that's why we didn't buy anyone, bruv. So that's why when it comes to the criticism we get, it frustrates me when I listen to these media outlets talk about it and they don't have a single Man United fan or a single Man United pundit on there that actually talks about the club's real problems. They just get ignored. And it all just gets like, yeah, United should be doing better. The improvements under Ten Hag aren't really that great. But man, do you know what? He's had one arm tied behind his back. People go 200 million spent. Yeah, great. But the squad needs a complete overhaul. Probably going to cost 500, 600, 700 million. Look how much Pep spent in his first 2 seasons. I think it was 5.5 million he spent in his first 2 summers.
Well, he done about 400 of that on defenders, didn't he? Right backs.
So
he bought about 1 million right backs when he first went there, and centre backs.
So my point is this: I don't want my club building the squad that can win 1 Prem in 6 years like Liverpool. I want my club building the squad that can potentially dominate the Premier League. That's what I'm expecting. So we're getting back to being in a good position. You know, we're getting back to where we want to be. But that's why the process is there. And the manager, he actually had to go into the boardroom, beg, scream, and borrow to allow them to sanction the deal for Casemiro because they weren't going to do it. They were going to give us, they were going to give us Arnautovic and who's the French dude whose mum's his agent, Rabiot.
Rabiot.
That's what they were going to get, and Ten Hag had to stop it and say, "Listen, if you give me Rabiot, we're in trouble." So they didn't even want to spend the money on Casemiro. He had to beg and plead for them to do it.
Mate, put this comment in the chat as well about if you give up your season ticket, you'll probably never get it back again, says DMIZZ. Yeah, you'll never get it back again. Yeah, but that's not the point. And I used to say this about the Cronkies when people were hashtagging Cronky out. It was just a hashtag on Twitter. Because if people would go to the games, like you said, Terry, go to the games, go on AFTV and then cry about, oh, it's a disgrace. Mate, you're paying £1,000 a season to go and watch it. And you're still going, you're still buying the beer at halftime. You're still going in the club shop to buy the shirt. And then you're moaning about the Cronkies. If you genuinely gave a toss, you'd give your season ticket. Oh, yeah, but then somebody else would get it. It don't matter, mate. You've done your part.
This is exactly
but they don't want to because it's all for show, Terry.
Me pulling my season ticket away and not buying kits has been a drop in the ocean. So me doing it as an individual has had no major effect. But equally, I know many hundreds of United fans, and I reckon there's thousands that have done what I've done, whether it's season tickets or just merchandise. That's part of the reason that if we'd all still been spending our money, the revenues would be even higher. They absolutely would be. However, if someone said to me, Terry, you can give your season ticket up and it will get rid of the Glazer, but it means you might be on a waiting list for 20 years to get it back, I would sacrifice my going to a game to get rid of the Glazers because my club being successful is more important than my own desire and need to be at the club, need to be at the ground. And I would put I'm willing to sacrifice that for the love of my football club. If you're not willing to do it, that's fair. But stop pretending the Glazers are the worst thing at the football club. It isn't. The worst thing for you is not being able to be at the ground. And I respect that. I completely respect people that don't want to give anything up. But get off your moral high ground. You haven't got rid of the Glazers. Them running out of money has done it. I want to go to some super chats here. First one says, Terry and Lee, do you think it's time for Spurs to delete?
The club's been deleted for time, mate. It's now just a side issue to the go-karting, the rugby, the boxing, the concerts.
Yeah, that's true. Terry, 1-2-1 Brentford tomorrow, bro. Tony double. Listen, I'm worried about playing Brentford. They're a bloody good team, but our home record is great. We beat you with the worst team at home last year. I'm confident we can beat you, but I'm not underestimating Brentford. We'll beat Everton on the Saturday, but yeah, Brentford's going to be a tough game. 9 cup finals. It's been. So we'll come back to the Arsenal ones in a minute. Gunnar Graham still red-faced with shame.
Still like me.
Oh yeah. Oh, Graham Gunnar. Graham Gunnar. Again, my dyslexia kicked in there. I didn't get red-faced. This here says, funny you bring up Martinelli double yellow, but what about Rodri getting away with an intentional foul to stop the counter-attack? Now, I brought up the double yellow. Oh my God, the sensitivity. I brought up the double yellow as an example that's been done before. I didn't say that I was using the we talk about Harry Kane and how he could have been sent off for play acting and his instigation. But you're right. I tweeted that Rodri should have been sent off the other day, but it became an irrelevant point because he ended up battering Liverpool 4-1. But I called that out.
Even Klopp said it was irrelevant whether he got sent off because we wouldn't have won anyway, he said.
Yeah, but I brought that up. But yeah, I wasn't having a go at Martinelli. I was simply stating that it's been done before. Anyone heard from Wrighty? Not seen him wheeled out since Arsenal started winning.
Oh, that's a fair point. We ain't seen him dropping any merch recently.
I know. I knew Lee would like that. I wanted to ask you about Liverpool, though, bro. Should Jurgen Klopp be sacked, or at the very least, should Jurgen Klopp be criticised? And I want to read this out to you. Jurgen Klopp has spent 150 million in the summer, this season. Sorry, out of all the cup competitions, 8th in the league, only won 48% of games. Any other manager would be destroyed by the media and their job under pressure. Should Liverpool consider sacking Jurgen Klopp, in your opinion?
Yeah, 100%. They've given up, mate. That game against City at the weekend, they literally gave up. Like, they scored a good goal, nice finish from Salah. After that, it was men against boys. And they literally, and listen, Man City were fantastic, but got to have a bit of heart, man. And they didn't have any of that. They've given up. And not only that, they look worn out. Like, mentally, physically, freshen it up, man. Doesn't matter what he's done before. And listen, I don't care if they sack him or not. Long may it continue. Because the way them lot are going on, it's like they're the greatest ever Premier League team. You've won 1 title in 30 years. Like, you're going on like the best Premier League team of all time. Not really, mate. At the end of the day, if you want to keep that manager there, well, good luck for the next 4, 5, 6 years, however long you keep him, because we did this with Wenger. Oh, but look at what he did for the club. Yeah, and all it does is throw you back 10 years. So, yeah, he should be sacked, but they won't sack him. Yeah, and their fans, half of them, if not more, don't want him sacked. Yeah, it's, oh, no, but let's get to the sun. Let's just get through this season. No, Europe would do us a favour. We've heard all of that one. They've literally gone from being millimetres away from doing a quad last season to, no, Europe would do us a favour. What are you chatting about? Like, the excuses are mad. I can't lie. Yeah, the excuses are mad. And I don't care whether they got 99 points and 97 points, mate. They didn't win the league. Yeah, it doesn't matter whether they got 100 points. If Man City got 101, nobody cares.
Man United don't have 14 Premier League titles because we lost one on goal difference. we have 13. And yes,
Man City, Aguero, wasn't it? Was it the Aguero one? Yes.
This is the thing with Liverpool. I think Jurgen Klopp is a great manager. He's in the great category. I think Jurgen Klopp has built a brilliant Liverpool team. But he is accountable for so many of their problems this season. The high line that he never addresses. And Ten Hag spoke about it earlier when we played the clip. You have a process, you have a style, you want to play a certain way. But winning is more important. You have to adjust. And Jurgen Klopp either doesn't want to, which is a conscious decision, or he doesn't have the ability to adjust. He doesn't have the ability to go, right, we need to sit 10 yards deeper because my defense can't handle my style anymore. We have to play a different way. He either can't do it or he's refusing to do it. And both of those two things are massively damaging. And the lack of criticism I see him get. I went on to TalkSport's Twitter page today and I went down all their video clips they've put out. Loads about Chelsea and their debacle, which we'll get onto. Loads about Man United having major problems. This is from Saturday onwards. The only clips they put out about Liverpool were Mark Goldbridge when he said that they were on 5 less points than Ralph Ragnick's team last year. They didn't get a spanking like Man United got a spanking, but they got beat 4-1, and it could have been more. And yet, silence. There's almost silence towards him, and this is detrimental to Liverpool because it means he'll keep his job. And he himself has said that if it was any other manager, his job would be under pressure. and your job has to be under pressure at all times. The pressure creates diamonds. It does. And at the moment,
And not only that, top clubs stay top clubs because they know when to get rid. Yeah, we were just talking about Ancelotti 10, 15 minutes ago. They're waiting on that Chelsea game, and if he gets knocked out, he's gone. Adios. Goodbye.
Exactly.
Ciao.
Exactly.
Yeah, and this is why they stay at the top. Bayern Munich got rid of Nagelsmann when they were second in the league, and everyone and when I went on Bayern Munich's Twitter account when it was announced that he was sacked, 90% of the comments on there were not Bayern Munich fans. It was all other fans of other clubs all around the world going, "Oh, it's a disgrace." No, Bayern Munich actually understand the aim of elite sport. Yeah, and they can hit the switch and say, "See you later," when they can see that something ain't right. Whether that's after one game, whether that's after 101 games, whether that's after 1 year, 10 years, whatever. Yeah, the problem with Liverpool, they went 30 years without winning a title. So then they've won a title, and their fans are so emotionally attached to that manager now that they can't let go. Yeah, and the media, a lot of the media, Terry, are Liverpool anyway, and let's be real here. Yeah, a lot of the pundits and the journos out there are Liverpool fans, a lot of them. So they're never going to sit there and openly criticise the one man, yeah, that has won them their only title in 30 years.
And bro, on top of this as well, this is the bit there's a comment here from GMG that says Klopp has won everything. If you don't think he deserves another season, you're a fool. That's a fair point. He maybe does deserve another season, but even admitting and saying we'll give him one more year is conceding that he is accountable for some of the problems that you've got this year. It's just the burying the head in the sand, not blaming Klopp, not criticizing Klopp at all. But anything that's going on is absolutely ridiculous.
I just want to say as well, why does he deserve another year? For what? Because you've done that in your head and gone, oh, yes, he deserves another year because he won us 4 trophies over. Who cares? This is elite high-end sport. It's an elite level sport. Yeah, football clubs don't stand still because you want to give Klopp an extra year because he deserves it. Yeah, and this is the difference between top clubs and the elites. Yeah, this is elite level football, but not every club is elite. And this is why, because there's too many people sentimental and emotionally invested in a manager of their football club. They're more interested in his reputation and his career and him bowing out with dignity and grace and what a legend, rather than actually keeping the football club winning. And somebody said that comment there is perfect. Elite managers don't grow on trees. Well, Ancelotti's available in the summer, mate. Yeah, Simeone's available in the summer, and you'll sit there and go, "Oh, I don't want Simeone ball at the at Anfield." Straight away, you've dismissed the top manager because you want Klopp over that guy.
Luis Enrique is available now.
So is Nagelsmann. The amount of hipsters that were telling us last week, Terry, that Nagelsmann's a top manager. Why don't Liverpool want him then?
This is the thing as well. Based on the logic that you shouldn't sack Klopp because there's no elite level managers, that means you should. Theoretically, he could stay forever because you may never find a manager.
Yes, on that basis, as soon as he does leave, like God forbid he don't keel over today. But if he does, what, you just fold in shop, close the shop. We're folded. There's no elite managers. No, forget it. We're done. What is this mentality, mate? This emotional attachment to a paid employee who don't deserve anything because he's already been paid his wage. Yeah. Oh, he deserves another year. Look at what he's done for the club. No. This is not Disneyland, mate. Yeah, we don't do all of this crap at elite level sport. Well, we shouldn't do, but this is why football now is so trash compared to 30 years ago because of all this sentimental BS that's come into it. Like, they're paid employees. At some point, Klopp is gone. Whether he leaves or whether he gets sacked, he will be gone. Your football club will still be there. So I don't understand why he deserves. Why does he deserve it? Well done. You won a Champions League. You've won a league. You've won an FA Cup. You've won a League Cup. Well done. You've been paid millions and millions of pounds to achieve that. You've done it. Cool. See you later. We're going in a different direction. And that is why they went 30 years in the first place without winning anything. Or without winning a league, should I say?
Mate, no.
They have this sentiment, especially Liverpool fans.
I totally get
this sentimental attitude towards their managers.
And this is where you need to be careful because let's just say Luis Enrique and Diego. I'm just going to name the managers: Diego Simeone and Nagelsmann all get snapped up by someone else, and then Klopp next season's awful, even worse. Then you sack him, and there's even less quality around. Then what do you do?
Brendan Rodgers is available. He nearly won him a league.
Super Chat here says, "Can you put on Spotify, please?" Straight Facts will be coming on Spotify soon as its own standalone podcast that we'll release over there. That will be coming soon, my friend. Lee calling people hipsters for having certain football opinions, yet saying he doesn't count assists is the most hipster opinion.
No, let me tell you about assists, because you educated me on this the other day, Terry. Assists, that were less than 2 yards, or within 5 yards or something, didn't start counting until 2004, you told me, yeah?
Well, it was like, there's no clear definition, but if you played a 2-yard pass 30 yards out, so even back in 2009, when Cristiano Ronaldo scored that screamer against Porto, I think it was Darren Fletcher that passed in the ball in the midfield. Darren Fletcher didn't get the assist for it. Now you do.
Right, okay, perfect. So on that basis then, all these people that sit there, because obviously Mesut Ozil retired. I thought he retired years ago, but he retired officially the other day. People are going, oh, he's one of the most assists in the world of football ever, blah, blah, blah. Okay, we'll now go back and get every single assist for Ronaldinho, for Bergkamp, and all these other players when they started counting them properly. Yeah, and I guarantee he's nowhere near. Yeah, because nobody cares about an assist, mate. Like, Bukayo Saka scored a screamer for England the other night. Maddison gets the assist for that. That is not an assist. What an assist stat does, is it sits there and makes out that a player can play crap for a whole game, but he got an assist. So that means he's great and he had a good performance. And this is where I look at it and I say, like, I'll give you another example, yeah? If a player gets fouled for a penalty, i.e. you're getting fouled, Terry, and I'm the penalty taker and I score, you get an assist for that. Unless they've changed that, you get the assist.
Some competitions do, some don't. But I believe that's more of an hang on though. But I believe that's more of an assist than a 2-yard pass 30 yards out that becomes a screamer. The reason I say that is because you may have broken into the box and that's created an opportunity which led to it. That's more of it. But I get your point. For me,
you might have scored the shot yourself if you weren't fouled.
Yeah,
it's a load of crap. It's a load of rubbish. Didn't Rooney get an assist and a goal for his own penalty to hit the post and come back out? And I'm pretty sure that happened. He took a penalty, it hit the post, it come back out, and he tapped it in. I'm sure he got the assist for it as well. Yeah, when he was playing for United years ago, I'm sure that happened. Yeah, because at the end of the day, Terry, these assist stats are a load of bollocks, especially when somebody is taking all set pieces. So Ozil was the prime example. He'd take corners and free kicks. As soon as you take him off of corners and free kicks, where's your open play assists? Oh, you ain't got many, have you, mate? Yeah. Oh, but he had Giroud up front. Load of bollocks. Yeah. Oh, he went 16 games without a goal. Yeah. How many big chances did Mesut Ozil put on a plate for him in that 16 games? Oh, yeah, 3. Yeah. Very easy, isn't it, to say Mesut Ozil is Giroud's fault? This is what I say. Assists are a load of crap, Terry. Pre-assists, assists, XG, XT, scan rate. How about just watch the games, innit? Yeah, you can tell whether a player's any good. I don't need to watch Jack Grealish's stats or Mahrez's stats to know they're top players. Yeah, but then you sit there and go, yeah, but Jack Grealish needs to do more and get more goals and assists. No, he don't. He ain't in the team for that.
No, again, I think there's a happy medium in terms of these conversations. I think he does need... I think goals and assists matter. I think chance creation matters. Big chance creation matters. I think that what they call them pre-assists, but I think someone's ability to play balls that break lines are very important. And the eye test works. And the eye test works very well when you rate someone as being a top-class forward. So, for instance, I always rated Ronaldinho as being a top-class forward. But the statistics back up the opinion. Because if Ronaldinho had all them skills, did all them dribbles, but he had the outputs of St. Maximin, he wouldn't be the Ronaldinho that we know and love. So I do believe there's a balance here. So I don't believe that if you just have lots of chance created, that makes you a world-class player. I believe it is a factor. As I always say, when I judge players, the holy quad: your ability, which is essentially the eye test, outputs, longevity and consistency, and the trophies that you go on to help your team win. Those things are what I judge football players on. I don't look at any one category as being the most important. I'll have arguments about individual categories when people turn around and go, Bruno Fernandes never creates chances. And I can show you physical evidence that he does. That physical evidence is either video footage or statistics. Either which way, I can prove what your eye test is failing you. And your eye test is normally...
But then again, it depends on what chances. Like, so you break the chances down. If you're putting a ball... Mesut Ozil was the master of frauding his way through football matches. Yeah. Oh, but he created 3 chances today. Yeah, one of them was Danny Welbeck off balance at the back stick with 3 players next to him. Like, and doing that little reverse ball where the player's going away from the goal towards the corner flag in the box, but that's seen as a chance. That ain't a chance. Yeah, that's a ball that's taken a player away from goal, but that's seen as a chance. Yeah, and somebody asked a minute ago in the chat, the corners count, a corners counted as assists. Yeah, they are. Yeah, but that ain't an assist. That's a fucking hit and hope. You've got 20 players in the box. You're aiming it, which you're good enough to do. Well, most of them ain't, because they hit the first man most times. But you're aiming it into a 6-yard box in the hope that all the players are out of the way and your man scores. Load of rubbish.
Do you know what I like about it, though? This is why I don't just use one category to judge a player, because you always end up screwing yourself. So a lot of gooners will turn around and say, someone here says Bruno creates a lot of chances but gives the ball away. So do most elite. Like Bruno Fernandes gives the ball away just as much as KDB. High-level creators do, because they're playing a lot of balls into areas to try and create. But this is what I love about stats. A lot of gooners would always say Ozil clear of Bruno, and they'll go on about the assists and everything. 184 games Ozil played in the Premier League. Bruno Fernandes 113. Bruno Fernandes has 41 goals versus Ozil's 33 goals. He has 31 assists to Ozil's 54 assists, but obviously a lot less games. But when you look at big chances created, 57 from Bruno, only 65 for Mesut Ozil. And I'm not slagging Ozil off at all, but this is why I say to people, don't just stand on one example as the reason why someone's the best or is better, because at some point somebody else will come in statistically and overtake them, and you have to admit you've lost. I did it in a space yesterday, and no one could respond. There's a lot of Liverpool fans that have said that Gerrard is better than Scholes because of the teams of the year that he was in. Yesterday in a space, all these Liverpool fans were saying to me that no Man United player should be in the team of the year this year. Their individual performances don't matter because the collective team hasn't been good enough. To which I went, okay, that's cool. Then why do you guys use Steven Gerrard as winning the most amount of times getting in team of the year? That's why he's better than Scholes, because his team performances should mean that he shouldn't have even been in it. This is the point all the time. People try to win every debate, and this is why stats are being disregarded now, because some people only use stats all the time, and people have become annoyed with it, where what it should be is a balance between your eyes, what the stats say. Like, the stats should back up your eye test. Your eye test is good. You know,
the only stat that matters is the full-time score, mate. Yeah, somebody in the chat a minute ago said to me, do you actually watch football? Yeah, that's the difference. I watch football, you watch stats, mate. Yeah, because I couldn't care less how many goals or assists.
I get on that. Just in the interest of time, we've got loads more subjects to get through, and I know we end up always being late. We end up sticking on these things here. This here says Lee is a top content creator. Follow him for laughs, is what D says here. This says we won't delve into all of this. So you're saying, frankly, you should have sacked your coach last season at Arsenal.
I mean, Lee has been sacked 100 times since he's been here, mate.
Lee has gone on record.
Even kid with that.
Yeah, Lee has gone on record of saying that many, many times. Yeah, we did this with Wenger, but with Klopp and Liverpool, it's much worse. That's the other side of it. That's the other side of the argument, though. You could stick too long and end up in a Wenger situation. So there's two sides to the argument. Ronaldo is a stat merchant. Messi isn't. Again, that just means you didn't watch Ronaldo from being 18 years of age and the way he used to dribble.
Used to is the key phrase in that. Used to.
Yeah, he doesn't do it at 38 years old anymore. But yeah,
when was the last time he dribbled past anybody? Come on, tell.
But he was a top player. In terms of dribbling part. This guy used to cook Ashley Cole, the greatest ever left back in Premier League history. Man had him on his ass week in, week out once he got to about 21, 22 years of age. And no one used to do that to
and then
him.
Went to Spain and decided actually trying to stat pad against Elche and Cadiz, he had to keep up with Messi, is a lot better than actually being a top footballer.
If I can find you a compilation of him dribbling past people over the age of 30, will you give me £1,000?
No, because you've got time.
Because he did it.
You have time.
I'll make you a better bet. £1,000 bet. If I can find a compilation of more than 100 times you dribbled past people after the age of 32, give me a grand.
75 of them are being the Saudi league, mate. So no thanks.
No. Okay, I'll do it again. Over the age of 33. Hang on. This is the bet. Over the age of 33, I bet I can find 200 separate examples.
Yeah, you probably can. But you probably can. Yeah, the point is, he was trashed from about the second year in Spain, and he has been ever since.
I hear you on that, right? I want to ask you, though, because I want to move on slightly from this conversation. You play Liverpool, they're on the way. Take a little listen to this clip.
City or Arsenal win the league.
My original answer was I want to see Arsenal win the league over City. However, someone made a great point which made me change my mind. It took Liverpool 30 years and Jurgen Klopp to come and absolutely transform the whole club for us to win one league title. If Arsenal have one fluke season under fucking Arteta and manage to win it, I think it will diminish Liverpool's achievements. Given what Liverpool and Man City have done these last few years, Arsenal just coming like this when Liverpool and Man City are having an off season. Think that the one season we had a blip. Every season where Liverpool are going hard at it, so Man City. Fucking Man City slip up this season and are a little bit shit.
You see why I keep saying that people are scared of Arsenal? And people keep thinking I'm making this up for effect. Listening to that, he thinks that City are having a blip. He's put City in with their blip, which is hilarious. He said that every time Liverpool go for the title, City are amazing. They weren't the year they won the damn league. And he's saying you're fluking it. They are shitting themselves about playing you this weekend, bro. They are shitting themselves.
Mate, they are. I'm just more happy that not happy. I'm just no, he's a Scouser from Liverpool. He supports Liverpool from Liverpool. Big up to him. Yeah. Fair play to him. He probably goes every week as well, so good luck to him, yeah. But at the same time, we're not. We're top of the league because we're the best team in the league at the minute, Terry. After all these games that we've played, we have been the best team to watch. Yeah, we've got the most points on the board, and I see the video you did the other day where I think, other than the Centurions, we've got more points at this stage than any other City team.
Yes.
Yeah, but then when you look at City's points total this season, they're only about a point or 2 points away from their average. So they're not having a blip or having a poor season, and they're still on for a treble. So what's he chatting about? Like, what is he chatting about? And he's just worried, man. He is literally just worried, yeah, like that we're going to come to Anfield and pull their pants down, yeah. And he's fuming. Right? And listen, it's his opinion. He can say what he wants, right? But at the end of the day, if we do win the league, which I still think we will, yeah, then they know they're getting it, and they know our fan base are mouthy online, even if we don't win anything every year. See, can you imagine the dramas Liverpool fans are going to face going forward if we win the league? Their team's crap now. Their manager looks finished at that club. The players look dusted. And now we go and win the same amount of titles as their greatest manager, yeah, in Premier League history. Mad, isn't it? They're all shitting their pants. It's hilarious.
Mate, again, I've been criticised all year. Like, no one's scared of Arsenal. Then why are you saying that on camera? And the amount of Liverpool fans in the last month that have started to come for Arsenal has been crazy. I've seen so many, and I didn't really get it because you're not rivals. You've never had, maybe in the late 80s, but for 30 years, you haven't had a rivalry. You haven't had Arsenal Liverpool has not been a thing the majority of my life, especially my adult life. And now out of the blue, they're coming for you. You saw the journalist post. You see the journalist post that came out? No. Oh my word! This guy came out. He's actually nauseating. Basically, said that everyone's had a blip. That's why you are where you are. The referees have helped you. You've had no injuries. He said you fluked it.
It sounds like a top gooner when we're doing bad.
Hey, honestly,
it sounds like a top gooner. Do you know what? Can I just say, we are 30 points ahead of them. 30. To put that into perspective, Palace have 30 points.
Mate, this is what he said. He said here, he goes, the fact that so much has gone for the Gunners this season, lack of injuries, trouble at their rivals, general officiating decisions. This is the best one. This is the best one. This is from Ian Doyle, the chief Liverpool reporter for the Echo. So this isn't some no mark. This guy's writing an article for millions of people who are going to read this. Millions of Liverpool fans. He then goes on to say, teams haven't taken Arsenal seriously. That's why you're top. You're top because no one takes you seriously.
Okay, so we're only 2 goals behind Man City. Yeah, we've got the second best defense in the league after Newcastle. We've got 4 or 5 different goal scorers that we can say have had, like Martinelli, top goal scorer, Saka, quality, scoring loads of goals. Yeah, Odegaard's chipping in with goals, double digits, I think, this season. Granit Xhaka's chipping in with goals, 3 and 3. Yeah, in his last few games. Yeah, and like we've got good goals from everywhere now. Yeah, and that's the difference. Like last season or the season, when Aubameyang and Lacazette were here, we were just relying on them two. Now we're not. Yeah, Liverpool are relying on Darwin or Salah. Yeah, that's it. Where are their goals coming from? Henderson don't score. Fabinho don't score. Thiago's never fit. Who else is going to score? They ain't got any goal scorers. Yeah,
Bro.
and this is the problem. They went out there and bought 80 million quid for noodles up front, and that's now killed off Salah as well. Yeah, these Liverpool fans, right? I have to laugh at them. Yeah, I don't dislike Liverpool. Yeah, and I've enjoyed watching how they've played for the last few seasons. But ultimately, they think they're miles better than they are, and they think that everybody else is crap, and that's why other teams are doing better than them. Oh, it's because this team ain't doing that, and because we fell off, and because of this. No, maybe we're just the best team in the league. Maybe that. Yeah, maybe, just maybe. Yeah, you're all going to cry for the next 10 years because you're going to keep hold of a manager who's falling apart. The club's falling apart. The ownership ain't got any money. Yeah, you got about 7 or 8 players that needs to be binned. They're all over the age of 30. Van Dijk being one of them, doing up ballerina at the weekend again. Right. They need to get rid of Van Dijk. They need to get rid of Salah. I said this to you time ago. Salah, they should have binned him, mate. Yeah, Danny Welbeck.
Why
Did have
Salah?
that debate with you, Tel.
You still think Danny Welbeck's better than Mo
And
Salah?
they both scored at the weekend, by the way. Do you think Danny Welbeck would have done any worse in Liverpool's team this season? Like, real talk.
Yes, he would have done. He's not at Mo Salah's level. But why do you think Mo Salah should be sold?
Because he's finished. He's dusted. Get rid. They're paying him how much? They've literally put all of their eggs in the Salah basket, and the guy is finished. And the problem they have is he was never that great anyway. Yes, he's got a great output, Terry. Yeah, but he was never that great anyway. It was the system of Liverpool, the Gengen press and all this crap, yeah, that was making him look better than he was and suffocating teams high up the pitch. And if you win the ball high up the pitch 10 times in a game and it falls to Salah 4 of them, he's getting a couple of goals. That's it. Now, all of a sudden, they've run out of legs. Their inhalers have stopped working. They can't rejig them because we've got them down at the Emirates now. Yeah, and we're doing all this pressing. And all of a sudden, he ain't the man anymore, is he? Yeah, which is why Klopp ain't the man, because Klopp has not adapted to what he's got in front of him. How is James Milner still playing for that football club in 2023? And James Milner, fair play to him, model professional, 37 years old, he can play everywhere, cool. But he shouldn't be there. Henderson shouldn't be there. Trent's one of the worst right backs, if not the worst right back I've ever seen. Oh, yeah, but he spams 3 billion crosses a season and gets 1 assist. Everyone jizzes. Who cares?
The worst
he can't defend. His job's to defend.
So what is your take on Liverpool fans that say he revolutionised the right back position?
Mate, they must have been on them fucking inhalers as well. Like, real talk. Real talk. What are you talking about? Mate, I've seen Cafu, Dani Alves.
Gary Neville.
About? What are they talking, Terry? About he revolutionised? What? So basically, what you're saying is, because he can't defend, yeah, and they allow him to not defend, but they were getting away with it, and he was spamming 3 billion crosses a game, nicks 1 assist, scores the odd free kick every 6 months. That's revolutionary. Yeah, they're more deluded than I thought.
Look, Liverpool fans are having a tough year. No, I say that because
the way you said that was hilarious.
I say that because I like these guys had a parade and celebrated winning the Carabao Cup like it was the greatest thing since sliced bread, and they're entitled to do it. This year, they're angry that and said it was embarrassing for Man United to do the same thing. They have slagged off teams for years for paying huge salaries. They've started doing it, isn't working. And they're fuming. They acted like they were never going to pay huge amounts of money for players, and then they drop £150 million on 2 new attackers. They know their manager is not going backwards, but maybe has come to the end of the road. Their star players are burning out. Fabinho. And the maddest is they're not even burning out 33, 34, 35. They're burning out late 20s. Like, they have been burnt out by this manager, and they look at Arsenal. Young.
This is the same team. Sorry to cut in here. This is the same team that tried to put a Champions League and a league title together as part of a double, and they've got the audacity to talk about everyone else. No. And then they were doing it. It was almost like you were at the Oscars or something. The way they were walking each player out with a spotlight on them, one at a time. Jordan Henderson, Mohamed Salah, gets in the bin.
But
it's in the bin, man.
It's this case of, someone here said it was 2 cups, Terry. It was 2 cups, but Man United are still in the FA Cup. Why should we not celebrate? There's pictures. Just look at the pictures of how you celebrated winning it against Chelsea. You had every right to then criticize Man United is only because by the way, if Liverpool were top of the league, they'd be leaving Man United alone. They're just in pain right now, Liverpool fans. And they'll probably start writing in the comments section 7-0. But
Right
Yeah,
on cue.
yeah, exactly. Seven's the right number. You're 7 points off the Champions League places. That hurts you a lot more.
Mm.
And they just,
Do you know what's going to hurt them even more is the fact they
What?
ain't even going to get in a title race for at least the next 7 years.
mate, they could. Liverpool with no new owners, with Newcastle, Man United, City, Arsenal. And this is why they're hating on Arsenal right now. Because Arsenal were the banter club for 10, 15, 20 years. And a manager who everyone called a cone boy has developed a team without doing what Klopp had to do. Klopp went out and bought world record transfer fee on a goalie, world record transfer fee on a centre back, spent huge amounts of money in that season. Arsenal have kind of done it. They spent money, by the way, Arsenal. There's no doubt about it. But they bought Zinchenko and Jesus, who are looked at as like bench players. They bought in
The same price as Van Dijk, by the way.
Yeah, they bought in Odegaard, who was seen as, he didn't make it at Real Madrid. They obviously developed, they bought young Martinelli. They developed young Saka as an example. The Saliba situation. They've done it in a different way, Arsenal. But in the summer, they're probably going to go out and spend big money to maintain what they've built. But this Arsenal team is going nowhere. And that is the big issue. I see Liverpool fans all week saying, you'll be a Leicester, you'll be a one trophy wonder in the Prem. That's you. That is you, Premier League-wise. And you're projecting your fears. You're projecting your fears that you are not going to challenge for a Premier League title for many years by trying to downplay how good Arsenal are. But the realization has hit home. And on that podcast, Liverpool fans will hate that podcast. And they'll hate that podcast because he's speaking the truth. They are petrified of Arsenal. Not the individual game and playing you per se, but what you may win this year and what you may go on to do. Because what they've tried to do is over-index their achievements. It's done brilliant to win all four trophies.
That's because they're insecure, Terry. Because
sorry, let me finish the point. They've won all 4 trophies in 7 years, and it's brilliant. But if you actually go back through their history, they've had more trophyless seasons than not under Jurgen Klopp. And they tried to over-index it and fit him and slide him into this, first of all, the Pep Klopp era. No, it's the Pep era. Then they tried to slide him into the great conversations with the Sir Alexes of this world and everybody else. Bro, you're not there. You're very good. You're very good, but you're not there. And they're worried about you guys. And I'm looking forward to this Sunday, bro, because...
Do you know what's funny?
I think you'll pam them.
I think we'll beat them as well. But do you know what's funny, Terry? Yeah? If we win the league, well, then Arteta's won an FA Cup and the league. So it's only a League Cup and a Champions League behind Klopp's whole legacy at Liverpool, isn't he? This is why they're shitting their pants. Like, listen, I don't think we'll win the Champions League in my lifetime. I may be wrong, but we could still win another cup here and there. We might even win a league again. Like, do you know what I'm saying? So this is why they're crapping it, because they know they're finished. And they know that it could take them another 30 years to win another league, whereas we could be winning another one next season or the season after, or could win it in 10 years' time.
Breaking news, sorry. Mitrovic has been given an 8-game ban for the Kavanagh push. Enough time for him to return against United on the final day.
That's hilarious.
8-game ban he's been given. But listen, look, Liverpool, I'm finding really amusing is seeing them. It's something like the way Arsenal have become public enemy number one. This is how you know their rivalry with City was bullshit as well. This is how you know it's bullshit, because they're not worried about City winning another Prem. So if this is the City Liverpool era, the Pep Klopp era, why would you want City to go 5-1 up on Prems? You wouldn't want it. You wouldn't want it. The reason I want Arsenal winning the league is because I don't want City to get a 3-peat, and I don't want them doing a treble because it impacts my club. City winning the league is far more diminishing than Arsenal equaling your Prem total, because it means your rivals that you've called them.
But this is the problem. They're insecure. They always have to be the victims. They always have to be the insecure victims of, oh my God, let's force a rivalry with City. I heard something you said the other day, about when it was a big Champions League night and they get all lined up in the street and they've got the smoke bombs going off. Why don't they do that when they're at home to Burnley or at home to Bournemouth or at home to this team or that team? Why is it only on certain games? Because they don't believe half the crap they're saying. Yeah, and they think that they're better and bigger than they are. The fact and reality is they've won 1 league in 7 years. That's it.
Please.
That's it. An unknown from Japan came in and did 3 in flipping how many years? 8 years? 8 years.
I look at it from this point of view.
Oh, but the landscape was different back then. No, it weren't. There was one team that we were fighting with, Man United. There was one team they're fighting with, Man City. So what's the difference?
Well, that's
We
the thing,
found
no,
a way to overtopple you at times.
hang on, though, that ain't even true. When Wenger first came in, Newcastle was still a threat. So this is the thing about you're even forgetting that. This is the thing what everyone talks about in this little period we've been in. Pep and Klopp have been great, but it's been a two-horse race in this period. When Jose's teams, Wenger's teams, Fergie's teams were fighting out, there was sometimes two, but often three or four teams that were looked at as potential title contenders. And I've even seen the likes of Simon Jordan play that down. He said the other day that when Fergie was in the Hall of Fame, they said, "Oh, whoa, like he had no one to compete with him. They always spent the most." Man United have only spent the most in the last 30 years. We've only been the highest spenders in any one particular summer 4 times in 30 years. People lie and they rewrite history to try and prove modern day points, and it's crazy. And look, I get why Liverpool fans are frustrated, but Liverpool should be backing Arsenal to win the league. How could you want your new rivals, Man City, to go 5-1 ahead of you? It's a nonsense. It's a nonsense. It's crazy, but they are scared of you. How do you think the game's going to go? How do you think the game's going to go on Sunday?
Well, Trent his career will be finished. Yeah, this will be 3 seasons on the spin. Martinelli's absolutely destroyed him. Yeah, like twists him up every time he plays against him. So, and Martinelli's our top goal scorer this season. He's in fine form, and Martinelli's going to roast Trent. Yeah, we know that Salah won't come back and help defend. Yeah, so yeah, man, that's one battle that we've won. Gabriel Jesus is going to absolutely destroy Van Dijk, Bambi on ice, little ballerina, Billy Elliott. Do you know what I mean? I'm going to start calling him Billy Elliott for the rest of the season now. And I like Van Dijk, but this season he is finished. Like it's got to be one of the biggest falls from grace ever, Van Dijk. Like I've never seen him get spun. Remember when they were putting out nobody's dribbled past Virgil van Dijk this season and all that? Yeah, now everyone can. And that started with Mitrovic, funny enough, on the first day of the season, winning a penalty against him. Yeah, absolutely twisted him. And since then, he's been crap. So I see Jesus absolutely causing nightmares for him. After I watched that, my boy Mahrez the other day, yeah, Ramadan Mahrez is undefeated, mate. You cannot get anywhere near him. He is such a good footballer, man. He absolutely finished. Well, not finished, but he's put him on the edge of finishing Robertson, and now Saka's just going to bury him. And a midfield, we're doing them, mate. Like they got no chance in midfield. What they got in midfield? The 30-odd-year-old Jordan Henderson and Fabinho. Cheers, mate. I'm shitting me pants, and I. Like, let's be real with it. Our midfield is light years better than theirs. Our attack is light years better than theirs. Just go and have a look at the league table. You might say, "Oh, Salah's not as good as," or "Saka's not as good as Salah." Well, it is. It's miles better.
What do you make of the view? Because the fans will be up for it, the players will be up for it, and you've got a bit of a hoodoo.
Oh, that special Anfield atmosphere that I've been to Anfield however many times. They don't say a word until they score. It might be different on the Champions League night under the lights, but every time I've been there at 12:30, at 2 o'clock, at 4 o'clock, at 5:30, they're silent, mate. They're silent until they score. Yeah, when they're playing Barcelona and they need to score 3 goals, yeah, maybe that's a different scenario. But no, man, listen, their home records, I think, the 3rd best in the league, joint with yours. Yeah, but we got the best away record in the league. We got the 2nd best defense in the league. Yeah, and we're scoring goals for fun. We just slapped up Palace. They couldn't beat them. They drew with them. Yeah, we just slapped up Leeds. Yeah, they lost to Bournemouth. We luckily beat them in the end. Yeah, but we're flying. 7 straight wins. There's no way in a million years we're losing that football match. No chance. They're not good enough, mate. They might score. Yeah, we ain't losing that game. Yeah, I can imagine Arteta's got the Never Walk Alone tunes pumping out of Colney as we speak. Do you know what I mean? They're psyched up.
I kind of look at it from the perspective of Liverpool can beat you. I would be embarrassed as a Liverpool fan if they turned up for this game and played brilliantly. I'd be embarrassed from the perspective of, again, you can do it against United, you can do it against Arsenal. Why can't you do it against Bournemouth? Why can't you do it against Crystal Palace? Why are you only bothering to turn up when you feel like it? I'd be fuming at them, and I would be fuming at my football club if they decided to down tools in most games and then every now and then turn it on. But they have that in them, Liverpool, to be able to beat you. And listen, I was confident Man United could win there. I didn't say I didn't say we'd smash them, but I thought we could win, and we came a cropper. But Man United and Arsenal are completely and utterly different teams this year. Your mentality is so strong. I believe you. I don't believe you'll smash them, but I believe you'll go there and you'll nick a win. I'm going to reveal later on in the week what I think. But I think you'll nick a win at Anfield, and it will be you beating one of the big teams away from home. And although Liverpool have been a bad team this year overall, their home form is still good and they're still part of the top 6. And I think if you go there and do that, that'll be the catalyst you need to go on and win the league. And I did see your TikTok, obviously taken from one of your shows. You are 100% convinced that your man Arteta is winning you and Arsenal the league.
Yeah, 100% we're winning it. I just don't see with Man City being in 3 competitions out. Listen, they're a fantastic team. I'm not knocking them at all. And they were purring at the weekend. And as good as they were, Liverpool were really bad as well. Yeah, and it was almost like City felt sorry for them. And just stopped scoring. Because they could have scored 2 or 3 more if they really wanted to. If they had to win that game 6-1 to win the league, they would have won that game 6-1. Yeah, that's how good they were. Yeah, but Liverpool were poor. But I just see the fact that they're in the Champions League. They're still 8 points behind us. Yeah, and I think the psychological side of it, because Pep would be sitting there thinking, we need Arsenal to cock up here. We need Arsenal to drop points somewhere. And they're probably all sitting there looking at that thinking, yeah, Anfield ain't won since 2012. So if we go there and beat them quite easily, like 2-0, 3-1, yeah, something like that, or a 2-1, but it was a comfortable 2-1. They grabbed one at the end. Yeah, I think that'll do Pep in a little bit because it'll be like, oh shit, well that was one game we thought they were going to drop points. Yeah. And then after that, I think we got West Ham, Southampton, and then after that we got City, I think. So, and again, if we get out of City without losing, yeah, that's now another dent in a minute. So, yeah, man, I think I'm kind of confident that we're going to win the league, man. No, I've not seen anything so far to suggest that we're going to have a blip. Although saying that, we had 3 games left last season, and we're 4 points clear of Tottenham. But we're miles different this season, man. Miles different.
You're gonna have to be brilliant because City have clicked into gear. City are coming. City they've looked the best they've looked all season. They really do look very, very good right now, and they're going to be dangerous. They're going to be on point, but they also have 3 tournaments they're in. And I've said many times before: keep your 100 points, keep your 99 points. Multiple trophy-winning seasons always rule. A Premier League and a Champions League in the same season is a harder achievement than 100 points. Absolute cast iron fact. It's a harder achievement because you have to manage the games, rotate. By the way, doing it 20 years ago when the squads were smaller and not as thick in terms of quality, even greater achievement because you have to play the same amount of games. City are fighting on all fronts. That's an advantage to Arsenal. I'm still pipping you to do it just. I'm saying just. I don't think you're going to do it by 10, 12, 15 points, but I think Arsenal will just keep on. As you say, there's no sign right now that you guys are going to waver. I think you'll get past Liverpool this weekend. I think it'll be a raucous atmosphere. I think you'll get over the line, but it's going to be an interesting one. There's some comments I want to do here.
I need to wrap up in a minute as well, mate. Yeah,
no worries. But this is Terry. You only highlight the fringe Liverpool voices and point out across the board. Listen, I'm pointing out what I'm seeing, and if you're like, no disrespect to yourself, Ryan, if you're not like putting videos out there, I don't know. All I'm seeing is tweets from big Liverpool accounts, journalists, content creators attacking Arsenal. So I'm making a point. What I don't see is millions and millions of Liverpool fans calling them out. They should be, what you and all Liverpool fans should be doing is quote tweeting and sharing these videos saying this is a disgraceful opinion to have as a Liverpool fan. We shouldn't be scared of them. Let's stand up to them or whatever it is. You should be fighting against it. Can we, Arsenal, win at Anfield without Saliba and Paul Tierney as a referee?
Couldn't care less who the ref is. I ain't one of these that are going to cry about refs. And yeah, we can. Because the difference between Rob Holding, listen, I don't rate Rob Holding one bit. The difference is he's got Gabriel next to him, Ben White the other side, and Thomas Partey in front of him. So why can't we? It's not like he's got David Luiz, Bellerin, and Xhaka. Like, I know Xhaka's in front of him, but it's not Xhaka facing his own goal, receiving the ball 20 yards out, playing deep lying. Yeah, it's Thomas Partey getting the ball in that position. Yeah, and so it's different. And listen, the 2 games that he's played in the Premier League, Palace and Leeds, hasn't really done a great deal wrong, has he? So why not? I know it's a different proposition, but Noodles is shit, mate. So I ain't worried about him one bit.
I get that. 9 cup finals. It's been a while, but I am pumped now. We bought down Highbury for this. Keep your towels up. Come on, you gooners. If it's true that Potter has only paid 13 million as compensation rather than 50 million, then how did Todd Bowley pull it off? Well, the reports are true. And that will just be down to there was an element of mutual conversations within it.
Maybe it's part of the terms and conditions that he'd get paid that money if he went over X amount of games or X amount
Yeah,
of seasons.
yeah. So there's probably some clauses in there. My XP is between me and my wife up the Chelsea. I like that. Sometimes I disagree with Lee, but then after the live show, I rewatch it. But mostly he's brutally honest, and that's very important and realistic. Is what's been said here. Why do people complain about the Glazers not watching games at Old Trafford? It's not really easy for an American to go to Manchester. Well, it is for billionaires. They've got planes.
Private jet, mate.
Yeah, I was there last season, and the place looks like the 20th century city. Yeah, I mean, not the again. You don't stay in the same hotels that the billionaires stay in either. I would assume maybe you do, but we'll see. Lee, how can you be right at the time if you said something will never happen? Odegaard will never be good enough, and Arteta will never manage another team again because he will never be good enough. Explain.
Oh no, Lee got a prediction wrong. Oh, I bet you predicted a prediction for the Spurs Everton game last night, but I bet it weren't a draw. Yeah. Difference is my opinions are out online, and this is where people love to take something from 2 years ago or a year ago, when at the time everything I was saying was right at the time. They pick it up and then try and drop it into the conversation now, like Graham Potter last week. Oh yeah, but you said you wanted Potter. Yeah, I also said I wanted Ancelotti, mate. What's your point? Do you know what I'm saying? And this is the same thing. Odegaard was shocking last season. The manager was shocking last season. But now they've come good. All of a sudden, that opinion was no. You lot love to chat bollocks. But thanks anyway.
Yeah. This year says very soon Klopp's legacy will get uncomfortable, is what D says. This from Deborah says, no, it's another way I can't stand fans. He said he isn't afraid of Arsenal when in reality they are. This is it. Like, you don't talk about, you can't not be scared at the same time state that Arsenal winning the league damages our legacy. That's literally the definition of being scared. Same as I'm scared about City winning a three-peat. I'm scared of City doing a treble because that damages my club's legacy, and it's all about legacy.
Very, very quickly as well about the guy that was talking about Odegaard a minute ago, because obviously people love to call me a flip-flop. Yeah, how many of these people calling me a flip-flop wanted Granit Xhaka out of the football club when he told us all to piss off and throw the armband on the floor? Oh yeah, probably all of them. Yeah, you all flip-flops, thanks. Now you rate Xhaka.
8-game ban for Mitrovic. Yeah, it's about right. I knew he'd get something like that. I just want to see longer bans for things like racism and biting people. But that, I mean, pushing the ref, I get it. Foxes and Liverpool, same amount of Premier League titles. Come on, you gooners, is what Flag says. This here says Terry League, Chelsea can no longer.
Don't worry, Kyle. You'll get your money at the end of the season, my friend. I promised. A bet is a bet, and I pay my bets, mate. End of the season. Come back to me 28th of May when we lift the title.
Lee, you're everywhere on socials after your twin has been sacked, is what Nathaniel.
I know the amount of people that have clicked me up, like big accounts, like with millions of followers, and put me out is hilarious.
I know, I see it there. Viewers, we are out of time. We were going to talk about Nagelsmann to Chelsea. We've run out of time today. Hour and a half gone that quickly. I'll cover that tomorrow morning on the Football Terrace. I doubt there'll be any major updates. What we know is that Chelsea have reached out to Nagelsmann and Luis Enrique so far. And there's 2 other managers on the top of their wish list, as you can see, with Mauricio Pochettino and is it pronounced Luciano Spalletti. They're the main 4 candidates.
Who wrote this? Who wrote this? Who actually got this information? There is a mystery 5th man. Yeah, all right, mate. Good one.
That's the Telegraph. The Telegraph have said that. So
a mystery 5th man. Yeah. How do you know that then? Well, so you've spoken to a source at the club that said, "Oh, by the way, I've heard through the grapevine because I had a glass to the wall. And there's a mystery 5th man, but somebody sneezed as they were about to say the name. I get in the bin."
I love Lee. Listen, people, smash the like button before you leave. Click on the link in the comment section or description to go and listen to the Top 6 podcast that is out right now. Go and download it. Give us a 5-star review on that as well. We're about to hit a record downloads. We're about to hit the record for downloads on that right now. So go and get that done. We need about another 100 downloads to break our record. So go and get it done. Lee, always a pleasure. Until next time, everybody, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again.